welcome back to today's video. I am so excited for today's video because I have Ben Fuchs sitting with me today. So we're gonna kind of do a little skincare series here. He's gonna get into who he is in a minute, but we're gonna do a little skincare series here today because he is so knowledgeable. His background is absolutely amazing and he has taught me so much, and I just want to share all that info with you guys as well. So go ahead, explain who you are.
Explain my biography?
Yes.
I always feel uncomfortable talking about myself.
Yeah.
Do you ever go to therapy?
Oh yeah.
It's kind of like therapy. You get to talk about yourself. You know?
Yeah, it's fun.
Yeah, it's sort of fun. So I'm gonna indulge myself.
Yes.
So I'm a pharmacist, but I'm much more than a pharmacist. I'm a nutritionist and a cosmetic chemist, and I'm also a voracious researcher. I love researching. I love finding out new things. And with the internet today, you could be if you're a researcher, you can go crazy doing research, and you can learn a lot of stuff. So what I've done over the last 35 years is I've made it my passion and my mission to understand the biochemistry of the body from the inside and the biochemistry of the skin from the outside. And all started in pharmacy school when I got an amazing experience, got an opportunity to work with a very famous skincare formulator, and I learned how to formulate skincare products. I learned how to formulate.
You gotta tell them who that was. Can you do that?
Yeah, I can.
Okay.
It was the guy who invented Blistex.
Right. So you worked with him.
I worked with him for 4 years. He was a professor at the School of Pharmacy when I was going to school. He was a retired professor, but the Blistex research facility was at the University of Colorado in Boulder. And so for 4 years, while my fellow students were getting their internship hours in drugstores, I was getting my internship hours in the Blistex lab, learning about the lips and about the skin and about ingredients and about formulation and about testing, and just a soup to nuts education about how you create skincare products, and not just how you create skincare products, but how you create skincare products that do something, that actually create changes in the skin. Dr. Jones was a medicinal chemist and a pharmacist. He wasn't really a cosmetic chemist, he was a medicinal chemist, and he studied the art of medicine. And really, what is medicine? Medicine is something that comes from the outside of your body that interacts with the inside of your body and creates a change. That's basically what a medicine is.
Right.
So what Dr. Jones taught me was that you could create skincare that was medicinal, that was coming from the outside of your body and that was interfacing with your skin and creating a change in your skin. You say, well, gosh, that's what all skincare products should do. Well, no. And as it turns out, that's not what skincare...
Most do not.
That's what the vast majority of skincare products don't do.
Right.
Is
they lay on the
change.
surface of your skin.
They create the illusion of something happening, the feel of something happening, or even worse, they'll have a marketing campaign or a jingle or a celebrity endorsement to sort of imply the changes are happening without changes really happening.
Right.
Now what I discovered, and through my own intuition and what I learned in pharmacy school, what I learned from Dr. Jones, was that there were ways you could actually leverage and access biochemistry in the skin without going into the drug world, without creating a technical drug or a technical pharmaceutical medicinal product, and still create changes. There's actually a loophole in the FDA regulations that say that if something works, it's a drug. And this is how I created my skincare products. Is I leveraged that loop. I took advantage of that loophole. So what is that loophole? Well, the technical definition of a drug is if something that is not from inside your body is put on your body or in your body and creates a change, then it's a drug. So the loophole is, right? This is really important.
Okay.
You sure you want to know?
We want to know.
Okay. The loophole is if it's already in your body or it's something that's part of your body and it creates a change, then that's not a drug. And that's why you can go to the health food store and buy vitamins and buy minerals, which do create changes in your body, but they're not regulated as drugs.
Right.
Why? Because they're already part of your body. If something's part of your body, it's much more difficult to regulate as a drug. Now, the FDA will regulate hormones, which are part of your body, and they'll regulate that as a drug. And there's a couple other tiny little things, mostly, as it turns out, illegal drugs, that the FDA will regulate or that they'll make illegal that are made inside your body. But for the most part, if something is part of your inherent biological system, like a vitamin is or like a mineral is, it's not going to be regulated as a drug.
Right.
So what I discovered was there were a couple of things like that, a couple of these substances that are already in your body that you could put in a skincare product that you could
kind of like feed your skin.
And feed your skin. And I was already hip to nutrition because I was a bodybuilder and I was a weightlifter. And in the world of bodybuilding and weightlifting, you're always looking for an edge. You're always looking for what can, as you know, you're a personal trainer,
exactly.
Right? You're always looking for that little edge. And so in the 80s when I was doing my athletic stuff, I was kind of reading bodybuilding magazines and muscle magazines, and we were always talking to each other about creatine and about amino acids and about B vitamins. So I was already kind of understanding that there was this aspect of our lives that we could control to get bigger and to get stronger. So what I did was I took those understandings and I applied them to skin and I applied them to skincare. And I started using I started formulating products that used nutrients for the skin. I started doing this at Blistex, and then when I graduated pharmacy school, I started doing it in the compounding pharmacy. And as I was telling you last night, this epiphany came to me when a guy came to my pharmacy and had a really bad condition called alligator skin. I don't know if you've ever heard of this. It's when you have these cuts and fissures on your skin. Your skin is super dry and it's really painful. And this guy came up to my pharmacy and he showed me his hands. He was a construction worker and he'd been working with cement. And actually there's a condition called cement dermatitis that construction workers get. And cement happens to be very irritating stuff. And he showed me his hands, and his hands were awful looking. And he said, Ben, no matter what I put on my skin, nothing's helping me. And he'd been using this stuff called bag balm. I don't know if you've ever heard of it. It's for cow's udders.
Oh, jeez.
On his skin. And so I got this idea, I got this epiphany. I knew about nutrition. I knew about nutrition internally. And I had already been using nutrition in my pharmacy practice for people who had high blood pressure and people who had weight problems or skin problems, using nutrition internally. So I got this idea, I'm going to go in the back of the pharmacy, I'm going to create this concoction which was loaded with vitamins. It looked awful. It's just stuck in a jar, and I gave it to him, and I didn't really think anything of it. And sure enough, he comes back 2 weeks later, and his hands are not 100% improved, but they're dramatically improved. He became a regular customer, and all I was really doing for him was giving him a product that I made that had super high concentrations of nutrients in it, specifically vitamins. And long story short, he became a regular customer. His hands completely improved. He told his doctor about it. The doctor started calling the pharmacy that I was working at, and they heard about what I was doing, and they started giving me problem patients. People had skin problems, dermatologists had skin problems. So I would create products, all based in this idea of nutrition for the skin. I became like a fixture in the dermatological world in this little town that I was working in. I figured, I was working for a chain pharmacy at the time. I figured, why am I doing this for this chain pharmacy? I'm going to start my own pharmacy, and that's exactly what I did. I started a cosmetic compounding pharmacy where all we did was create skincare products for individual people. There are no drugs in the pharmacy. And
so they would come into you with individual needs, and then you would help them.
Or their doctor would call me, and I would create a formula. And it was a regular pharmacy, but there are no drugs in the pharmacy. The State Board of Pharmacy would come to inspect me every year, once a year, and they'd say, Ben, where are your drugs? I said, no drugs here. It's just skincare. And I would also have a lot of nutritional stuff, too. And at the end of, I don't know, a couple years, 3 years or so, I had a formula book with patients' names and formulations for their specific problems, and they would come in and get their specific formula. So I had all these specific formulas for specific patients, and nobody was doing this. Today, you've heard of the term compounding, probably, right? This was in the early 90s, and nobody really knew what compounding was. This was sort of a revolutionary idea that you could actually go to the pharmacist, and he would look at your skin, and he would create a product just for you. And so after doing this for about 3 years, and this was probably 92, 93, 94, I got the idea, why am I just doing this for individual people? I might as well just sell these to, in stores and to give them to doctors. And so I went to Kinko's and I typed up little address labels. The story. And I just stuck them in the bottles. I put little Scotch tape on them, and they looked really silly, and they were kind of crooked. And, but they were packed with active material, and they were packed with ingredients that I knew worked. And their formulas were based on clinicals because they were all individual patients' formulations. And I tweaked them a little bit, and put a little more of this, a little bit less of that. And then I just drove around town. I was in Denver, and I drove around Denver, Colorado, and I knocked on doors, and I said, hey, I'm Ben the pharmacist, and I make products, and here they are. And little by little, the products, they caught on. People started to realize that there were things that they could do for their skin. It started to turn into a company. I ended up selling a lot of products. I sold my company recently, had a non-compete, and then maybe 6 months ago, I released, while I had my non-compete, I sort of released the products that were based in these ideas. That were sort of the culmination of everything I've learned about how you handle the skin, how you treat the skin, how you address skincare needs, skincare problems, and really how you address the health of the organ that we call the skin topically without anything else. That's why I call the products the truth, based in ingredients that only do something for your skin. They're all active and functional.
No fillers.
No water, no wax, no emulsifier. Because what I found with my patients was, I'm a pharmacist, and I'm looking at dosages. And when you get your blood pressure medicine, or your birth control pills, your antibiotics, or whatever kind of medicine you want, all you want is the stuff that works. You don't care what it smells like, and you don't care what the bottle looks like, and all you want to know is about the medicine. So I'm trained in the art of medicine, and these are basically medicinal products for your skin. Not in the sense that you need to have a doctor's prescription or you need to go to the pharmacy medicinal, but medicinal in the sense that they actually have an effect on your body. There's something coming from outside your body that interacts with your body that creates a change in your body. And that's what you're looking for in medicine.
Right.
And the way I look at it, that's what you're looking for when you buy a skincare product.
Exactly. You want it to change the skin.
To create
There's so
some
much
kind of
skincare
change
out there that doesn't do anything to your skin.
And that's the way you tell how valuable a skincare product
Right.
is. You know, you put it on. The worst thing you can do, which is what we all do when we want to assess the value of a skincare product, is we rub it on our skin and we go,
it
that
feels
feels
good.
good. Right? That's the silliest way to tell how good a skincare product is, because you can put whipped cream on your skin.
Exactly. And it feels good.
It feels good. And that's, in essence, what most products are. They're based in whipped cream. They're fat and they rub on your skin.
Yeah.
And basically, here's the irony. You put a skincare product on your skin and you rub it, you're not feeling your skin, you're feeling the product.
Right.
So you haven't made any assessment on what the product is doing for your skin. You're only feeling the wax and the oil and whatever's in the product. You want to know what your skin is feeling like, not what the product is feeling like. So the only way to really assess the value of how good a skincare product is what does your skin look like a week later, a couple days later? It shouldn't take very long. If you're really creating a change in the skin is very dynamic. It's constantly moving. So you should be noticing a change in 48 hours, 72 hours, 4 days, maybe 5 days, but really relatively quickly, and you will notice differences very quickly with this. That's how you really assess the value of a product. Now, sometimes when you're making a buying decision, you can't wait 4 days. You got to buy the product, so you don't have 4 days to wait to see how good the skincare product is. So a middle ground that's between the silliness of rubbing something on your skin and seeing how good it feels, or smelling it and seeing how good it smells, which is another thing people do. Right. And the real true way of waiting 4 or 5 days, there's a sort of compromise you can make, and that is to understand ingredients and to understand an ingredient deck.
Yes.
I know as a pharmacist, my worst nightmares was a patient who didn't understand her medicine or his medicine. Right. I wanted my patients to understand everything about the medicine. I wanted to understand the side effects. I wanted them to understand the adverse effects, what to expect, the kind of dosage they need, what an overdose was, every single thing that there was to know about that medicine. As a pharmacist, I wanted my patients to know. Yeah. Likewise with skincare products. I want my patients to know ingredients. I want them to know ingredient decks. I want
what
them to know
what
they do, what to avoid, what to look for. Right. Because I know that when they do understand ingredients and they understand ingredient decks, this is the kind of stuff that they're going to go for. They're going to go for high dosages. They're going to go for fat solubility. They're going to look for those 2 or 3 main active ingredients that you need. And really, there isn't a lot of active ingredients that are going to do something for the skin. In fact, it's on one hand. The skin is really not the skin. We look at the skin. What do you see when you look at the skin? As a layperson, nothing. Right. Really, you just see some. I don't know. Yeah. You tell me.
Yeah, you can't even just like,
nothing,
I don't know.
Right? But if you zoom in with your X-ray vision or your nano vision, and you look deeply at what's happening in the skin, what you'll see is 2 components. Two basic components. There's a lot of subcomponents, but there's 2 basic components. And as I was telling you yesterday, the skin is like, and the whole body really, is like raisin bread. It's made up of 2 components, just like raisin bread is made of 2 components. Raisin bread is made up of raisins and bread, right? On the skin, we don't call the 2 components raisins and bread. We call them cells and stuff. Technically, we call it extracellular stuff, extracellular matrix. But basically, it's the cells and the stuff. When you want to have a healthy body, your health is a reflection of how active and how agile the cell is, how well it's producing the stuff, how well the raisins are producing the bread. It's like magical raisin bread. Imagine I put raisins right here, and
it's just like
they made bread.
Right.
That would be magic, right? That's how your body is. It's magical. The body is made up of cells that make the stuff. Now, as it turns out, it's even better than that, because there's a big circle that's created. The cells make the stuff, but then the stuff turns back and feeds the cells and oxygenates the cells and detoxifies the cells, which then make more stuff, which then feed the cells. And
so it's a whole healthy
big circle.
It's
a big circle, exactly. Now, what we see in the aging process is a defect in the stuff, because the cells aren't doing their business. As we get older and as we get malnourished, we don't eat as well, we don't have enough nutrients in our body, we don't breathe as well. As toxicity, especially from sugar, starts to build up, the cells don't have the wherewithal. They're not as healthy and as strong, as vital as they need to be, so they don't make the stuff. So the key to health, whether it's the health inside of your body or the health on the outside of your body, and this is very important because we're not talking beauty here, we're talking health. Right, exactly. Beauty should be a reflection of health. Right, and exactly. You don't want to be synthetically beautiful, you want to be truly beautiful, and that's what health is. Health is true beauty. And the only way to address health is not to be at the level of the stuff, but to be at the level of the cell.
Right.
And the good news is the cell doesn't need a lot of stuff, or
Right.
doesn't need a lot of things. The cell needs nutrition, it needs oxygen, and it needs detoxification. It needs a clean place to do its work.
Right.
Now, the most important, we're talking about the skin now, everything we say about the skin is going to be true about the liver and about the lungs and the internal
Right.
part of the body, and vice versa. Everything that's true about the lungs and the liver is going to be true
It's
about the
all
skin.
organs, right?
It's
It's
all
all-
organs.
right.
Cells like a liver on the outside of your body,
Right.
an organ on the outside of your body. So with the skin, just like with the liver and the heart and everything else, it's fed, it's nourished, it's oxygenated, and it's detoxified through the blood. The blood is this is why the blood is so important. And all disease and all illness and all aging is really a defect of blood that doesn't have the nutrition in it, that doesn't have
Right.
the oxygen in it, and that is accumulating toxicity. So with the skin, like any other organ of the body, most nutrition has and detoxification and oxygen has to come in through the blood. But
Right.
because the skin is external, now we have another route of administration that we can leverage.
Because you can actually absorb through the skin, right?
Yes, if you know what you're doing. But
Right.
but there's a few catches. Okay, logically and theoretically, the skin is a route of administration of material, and you can pull things in through the skin. But there's a few caveats. The most important one is the skin has a surface, a hard surface,
Yep.
almost like a fingernail. There's like a layer of fingernail that's on the surface of your skin, which is really kind of cool when you think about it, because
Because it keeps all the harmful everything out, right?
not only that, it keeps your body intact.
Right.
Without that thin layer of fingernail, which is maybe as thin as a tenth of a piece of paper, that's how
Right.
thin it is. Without that thin layer of fingernail on the surface of your skin, you would be a puddle on the carpet.
Right, exactly.
You would just be flopping all over.
Yeah.
It holds us all in place. And this
Right.
fingernail-like material, which is technically called the stratum corneum,
Mm-hmm.
right, is so robust and so solid that if in the laboratory, when we spin it around, when we take these cells that are all stuck together and we put them in a test tube and we spin it around, it'll take 3 weeks for the thing to disintegrate. That's how robust the
Right.
stratum corneum is. That's how solid it is, and it's a good thing because, as I say, it keeps everything intact. Not only does it keep everything intact, but it has its main role. This is very interesting in the world of skincare. The main role of this fingernail-like material on the surface, the stratum corneum, is to keep water in and to keep water out.
Right.
That's why you don't dissolve into a puddle every time it
Right.
rains.
Right.
Because you have a raincoat on
Right.
the surface of your skin that's keeping the water out. But this creates a problem for us in skincare. Because just like it's keeping the water out, it's going to keep things, active materials in skincare out.
Right.
With some exceptions. If you understand the science of the stratum corneum, you can understand how to sort of penetrate through little pores and leverage little openings that are in the stratum corneum, and this is something pharmacists study.
Right.
We study something called transdermal penetration,
Right.
or also we call it pharmaceutics, where you can actually deliver medicine into the body through the skin if you know what you're doing. That's why you have estrogen patches, and you have lidocaine patches,
Right.
and nicotine patches, and if you go on a cruise and you get nauseous, they'll put a little patch in the back of your ear called a scopolamine patch, and you can rub progesterone cream on your
Right.
skin or DHEA cream on your skin. So there are ways to access the lower levels of the skin to get through the stratum corneum if you understand the science. And
Right.
this is something.
And let me just say, because all the skincare out there. I mean, you can go to Nordstrom and buy all that skincare. That does not penetrate fully into the skin.
The vast majority of it
Does
doesn't.
not,
and,
yeah.
and you know what, Brianna? It's a good thing.
Yeah.
Because there's so many ingredients in most skincare products that,
That
you
are crap.
you don't
Right.
want them to get through the stratum corneum. It's a
Exactly.
good thing that you have that there.
Right.
In fact, the vast majority of skincare ingredients you don't want to go in your skin, but especially things like preservatives and
Right.
sunscreens and what they call xenoestrogens, or herbs that have an estrogenic effect.
Right.
You don't want them going through your skin. You want
Yeah.
to keep. It's a good thing we have the stratum corneum, but on the other hand,
You want that right. You want the right ingredients to get where they need to be
yes,
too.
because
Right.
this is why we got into talking about this, because we're talking about the cells.
Right.
So it's all about the cells, but with the skin you have a little bit of kind of wrinkle here, because the cells that you want to get to are underneath the stratum corneum.
Right.
So you got to figure out how to get through that fingernail-like material, the stratum corneum, into the cells. Now, it's a little bit more complicated than that, because once you get into the cells, you got to have the right material. Getting inside a skin cell, and
Right.
there's two major skin cells. One's called a keratinocyte. You may have heard that term. That's your main skin cell. But
Yeah.
the real meat and potatoes of the skin, the cell that we really want to attract, or we really want to approach, and feed and sustain is called the fibroblast. I don't know if you've heard that.
Yeah.
The fibroblast, right?
Yeah.
The fibroblast is a holy grail of skincare. The fibroblast is the cell that makes the collagen, that makes the hyaluronic acid, that makes all the moisture factors, and it's what gives the skin the solidity and the robustness and the thickness that we all love. It's like with your kids, you look at a kid,
they have nice, plump, healthy skin.
Beautiful skin. They're not using skincare products.
Right.
And then you look at grandma, not so much, right?
Right, exactly.
Because what's happening is the fibroblast is making less of this stuff. The stuff,
as
by the
you
way,
get older,
as you get older. This stuff is called connective tissue collectively, but it's made up of mostly sugar-like materials they call polysaccharides and proteoglycans, things like hyaluronic acid. Mostly the most important thing is collagen, but also elastin and other connective tissue. So the key, the sine qua non, the essence of skincare is approaching the fibroblast and figuring out how to feed it and sustain it and to nourish it. And the good news is
it stays healthy and doing everything it needs to do.
And the good news is the fibroblast, as singular and unique as it is in the body, needs the same things as a liver cell, or a heart cell, or a muscle cell, or a bone cell, or any cell. It needs specific nutrients, it needs a clean place to do its work, and it needs oxygen. Now, most of that stuff's going to happen in through the blood, but if you know what you're doing, you can put stuff on, you can create products that somebody could put on top of the skin, and that active material that you're looking for that will feed the fibroblast can migrate its way down, and from a cellular perspective, it's pretty deep down into the lower levels, which are called the dermis. Those active materials, and there's only 2 of them, that will be able to get into the fibroblast, and not just, this is so cool, not just get into the fibroblast, but literally get into the genetics of the fibroblast, to activate the genes, to activate the DNA so that the collagen and the elastin can be produced. Do you think you'd want to put those 2 ingredients in your skin? Heck yes, you do.
Exactly.
And now you do want to take them internally too, these 2 ingredients, but on the skin, you want to pound your skin with these materials on a regular, if not daily basis, or if not several times a day basis, so that they can have the ability to migrate their way down through the surface of the skin, and it is multiple layers, all the way down to the dermal layer, get into the fibroblast and have the fibroblast do their business. And if you do it correctly, and this is how you can tell if you do it correctly, when you have a cut, you have a scrape, or you have a shaving neck, you should be able to put your skincare product on that shaving neck. And if it has these active materials in it that will migrate their way down to that fibroblast and turn on that fibroblast, you will notice that your cut and your neck and your it heals.
Yeah,
exactly.
Right.
And that's how you'll know that the truth works. Is you can put these products on cuts and scrapes and shaving nicks, or even burns, any of those things, and they will actually heal the skin.
Right.
And that's how you know that you have an active material, because healing is anti-aging and healing is beauty, because healing is health.
Right.
Healing comes from the word health. And when we're talking about beauty and we're talking about anti-aging, from my perspective, you're talking about health. And taking care of your skin then becomes not just cosmetic, not just superficial, not just vanity, not just I want to look pretty for my boyfriend or for my girlfriend. It's a matter of the health of the organ called the skin.
Right.
And I think personally it's high time that we treat the skin with the respect that it deserves.
Because most people don't understand, they don't even think of it like
as an organ. We don't think of it as a dynamic system, but it is. As you and I are speaking here today, our skin cells are rising to the top. There's probably millions of skin cells that have flopped off the surface, just as we've had this 2 or 3 minute conversation, and cells are rising up to the surface. Collagen is being secreted, hyaluronic acid is being secreted, your skin is getting thicker, and we can speed that process up. We can enhance that process. We can feed it, amplify it, make sure that process happens at the correct speed and at the correct rate by using topical nutrition, as well as internal, nutrients. Those are awesome.
Right. But get into your products. Let's talk about because they're amazing.
They're all based in the 2. I never told you the 2 ingredients. Right?
We never talked about
the 2 ingredients.
Yep.
Okay. The 2 most important, if not the 2 only important active ingredients, I would present that these are the 2 only important active ingredients for your skin.
Yeah.
Vitamin C and vitamin A.
Right.
I'm just kidding you, because everybody should know this. Vitamin C and vitamin A are the only 2 ingredients that can actually be put on the surface of the skin that will migrate into the lower levels of the skin and will not just approach the fibroblast, but literally enter into the fibroblast. Vitamin A in particular is so important that it has this escort. There's a cellular escort that will say, oh, vitamin A, come on in, come, and it will attach, it's called a binding protein,
Right.
and will attach to the vitamin A, it will escort it into the DNA, into the nucleus. Now this is the sacred space. Everything that enters into it is really tightly controlled. Vitamin A has its own escort into the nucleus,
Right.
where it will actually activate the DNA. Vitamin C doesn't quite have its own escort, but it still gets into the nucleus where
Right.
it activates the DNA. This is an amazing idea that you can put vitamin A and vitamin C on the surface of the skin. They will not only go through the stratum corneum and go to the lower levels of the skin, they'll not only approach the fibroblasts, they'll literally go
Right.
into the fibroblasts and into the nucleus of the fibroblasts.
And
change the
right.
genetics.
But let's mention on speaking about that, I mean, you could go into, again, Sephora, Nordstrom, get a vitamin C.
Well,
and
there's different types.
I was going to say, there's so many vitamin C products out there that don't penetrate.
There's different types. There's different types of vitamin C.
Yeah.
There's different types of vitamin A. And when you're making a product, it's not just the active material. You have to know how to deliver that product. You have
The deep levels. And
Correct. You have to create an entire system
Yeah.
that will allow that material to be delivered into the lower levels of the skin. And basically, that's what the truth is.
Right.
It's a system made of two components, the active material and a delivery system.
Right.
And
That's it.
That's it. That's
no
all.
fillers, no preservatives,
No,
nothing.
Every molecule in the truth is something that's going to be active and functional on
Yep.
your skin. It's
Right.
going to do something for your skin.
Right.
You know,
so which one do you want?
well, we'll
do you wanna
start out. It's a system.
Right.
The first product is called my True Serum,
Which
it's made with.
Amazing. I've talked about this so many times already.
This was voted
Yeah.
one of the top 150 products in the world by Harper's Bazaar magazine.
Yeah.
This is up to pretty darn close to 80% fat-soluble vitamin C. I put a little cholesterol in there. Cholesterol is an ingredient that's in your skin,
Yep.
and that is a precursor or a raw material to moisture factors.
Right.
And then there's a skin brightener. There's a couple skin brighteners that come from chamomile and from licorice. And then there's esters.
Mm-hmm.
Now, esters are an interesting chemical molecule that I use a lot in my products because they facilitate the movement. They're transdermal penetrants. They facilitate the movement of active materials to the lower levels.
Right.
And that's it. There's 5 ingredients in this.
5
thing.
ingredients.
Right.
Yeah.
And
the first ingredient is your
it's
vitamin
the heavy
C.
lifting is the vitamin
Right.
C.
There's
Absolutely.
no water's not the first ingredient.
There's no water in it.
Right.
There's no water, preservatives. There's no
Right.
preservatives in any of my products either.
Right.
This is a product that will last you 2 months.
Right.
That's why you only use 1 or 2 drops or 3 drops.
Right, because it's
You know,
so active. Like I was telling them, you only need a little bit. Like a little bit goes a long way.
A tiny little bit, exactly.
Yeah. And talk about the vitamin C type that you put in here, because I think I am so in love with this vitamin C.
This vitamin C type is a fatty form of vitamin C. And vitamin C is the rate limiting step in the production of connective tissue, which means it's without vitamin C, you don't make connective tissue. No matter what else you have present, if you don't have vitamin C there, you cannot make connective tissue.
Right.
So actually all of the visible signs of aging are connective tissue problems.
Right.
So what you can see is by having enough vitamin C in the system, you can build connective tissue, or without enough vitamin C in the system, you won't build connective tissue. So the vitamin C becomes not just the rate limiting step in connective tissue building, it's the rate limiting step in aging. And I'm talking about the visible signs of aging. It's the rate limiting step in the production of collagen for your wrinkles or anti-wrinkles. It's the rate limiting step for the collagen in your bones. So osteoporosis is a vitamin C problem.
Yeah.
It's the rate limiting step for the collagen in your blood vessels in your heart. So vitamin C is the rate limiting step for heart disease. Vitamin C is the rate limiting step for all of the visible and non-visible signs of aging,
So
which makes it
interesting, yeah.
exquisitely important. Now, most animals make their own vitamin C. So it's not a vitamin for dogs. It's not a vitamin for birds. It's not a vitamin for goats because they make their own. Only human beings and gorillas and a couple species of guinea pigs don't make their own vitamin C. So we are in a position as human beings where we have to make sure we get enough vitamin C in order to make connective tissue. Vitamin C becomes critical for heart disease, it becomes important for osteoporosis, it becomes important for all of the signs of internal aging as well as external aging, internal and external. But the problem is that we have that fingernail. We got that barrier on the surface, and because vitamin C's natural form is water soluble, it bounces off the surface.
Right.
See, in chemistry, you have 2 types of chemicals. You got water-soluble chemicals; those are the kind of chemicals that dissolve in water.
Right.
And you've got oil-soluble chemicals, and those are the chemicals that dissolve in oil. The skin is a barrier to anything that's watery. Anything that's water-soluble,
it's going to keep it out.
It's going to keep it out.
Right.
And that's a good thing. That's why you don't dissolve into a puddle when you take a shower.
Right.
It's because you have this raincoat. But that also keeps water-soluble material from entering into the skin. Vitamin C is water-soluble.
Okay.
So if you put vitamin C on top of your skin, it ain't going nowhere.
Right.
It's going to sit on the surface of the skin. And there are companies that will tell you, well, we add things to it and we create special formulas. No. If you get any vitamin C in through the stratum corneum, it has to have a degree, at least, of fat solubility.
Right.
What I use is pure fat-soluble vitamin C.
Right. What's the name of the?
Well, I use several forms.
Okay.
One which is in my True Serum and retinol gel and Truth Balm is called. You ready?
Yeah. This is the
tetrahexyldecyl ascorbate.
Yeah, there you go. I always try to say that. I'm like, whatever that name is.
Or I like to say ascorbyl tetraisopalmitate.
Okay.
But either way.
Yep.
And that is a very expensive fat-soluble form of vitamin C. Now, I use a lot of it, not just a little bit. There are companies that will use this form of vitamin C, but they'll put 1%, 5%,
right.
maybe if you're lucky, 10%. I use 70%.
70%?
Well, that's in the balm.
Right.
I use almost 80% in the serum. I use almost 25% in the retinol gel. Now, I have another form of vitamin C, fat-soluble vitamin C, called ascorbyl palmitate that I like, which is heavier and more occlusive. It kind of covers the surface of the skin. It's more appropriate for healing. I use that in my omega-6 healing cream.
And what's in that one? The omega?
The omega-6 healing cream, I didn't get a chance to talk about these products yet, but the omega-6 healing cream is a product I created for a burn victim.
Oh, right. I remember.
In my pharmacy.
Right.
He was a helicopter pilot and he crashed in a forest fire and he had these terrible burns. And his physician called me up, his doctor called me up and he said, Ben, this was when I was doing formulations for physicians and for patients. He said, Ben, I got a patient, he's got terrible burns, he needs vitamin C in his skin because this doctor knew that vitamin C is important for healing.
Yeah.
But the problem is that vitamin C is very irritating. It's an acid. So if you put it on a burn, you will scream.
Yeah.
And while you may get a little bit of healing, you won't want to put it on because, especially if you have a severe burn, because it's going to really sting.
Yeah.
So I created this product, which is a moisturizing form of vitamin C for this guy Jeff, who needed healing. It turned out to work so well for Jeff that his insurance company ended up paying for it, and I ended up working with his insurance company.
Oh, wow.
And then I just turned it into a healing product.
Well, let's start with that then. Let's talk about that. Show them, talk about it. We'll go into each one because I want you guys to know.
This is a creamy balm that is, I call my products important because they're about healing. Yeah. Now, all of these will heal the skin, but this will dramatically heal the skin. If you have any kind of
skin
irritation, burn, abrasion, any place where the dermis is exposed, this will accelerate the healing of the skin.
Now, what if you're using like your vitamin A and you're getting irritated with that vitamin A?
This will help soothe that. In fact, yes, I always recommend that with the retinol gel, the next day you use the omega-6 healing cream.
Right.
They're kind of a pair.
It will just help calm your skin.
Calms the skin down and accelerates the healing. And that's a really important point that you raised. Retinol is very stimulating.
Right.
I relate retinol to going to the gym. So that when you go to the gym, you're actually stimulating. And in fact, if you looked at your muscles after you lifted weights, you'd be like, oh my God, I just tore all my muscles.
Right.
My muscle fibers are torn. But we know that in response to the muscle tearing, something very interesting happens. It grows back stronger. This is the most amazing thing that we take for granted in the body. This is a miracle. You work your body, you put stress on your body, you literally traumatize your body, and then the next day, it's bigger. The more you
work it and it gets healthier.
That's incredible. In science, we call that hormesis. Hormesis. Hormesis is the idea that you can put a stress on the body, and in response to that stress, the body will grow bigger and stronger and better. And we know this is true because we go to the gym. And this is what happens when we go to the gym. This is why you'll hear sometimes doctors and other people saying, oh, you don't want to stress your skin, you don't want to stress your... Nonsense.
Yeah.
You do want to stress your skin, but you want to stress it correctly.
Right.
Number one, you want to balance the stress with rest. This is very important. Stress is important for growth, but only within a context of rest.
Right.
I call it extra-rest.
So it's kind of like when you exercise, like you have to
have days off.
Right, exactly.
The biggest mistake people make when they work out is they overtrain.
Right.
Right? And then they wonder why they're not getting bigger because they're going every day, they're not giving their body a chance to recover.
Right.
Your muscles don't grow when you're working out. They grow the next day when you're sitting in your butt watching TV.
Exactly.
That's when your muscles are recovering. So it's this balance of stimulation and rest. I call it extra-rest. So you stimulate and you rest. But the next component is also extremely critical if you're going to leverage the power, take advantage of the power of exercise, and that's nutrition.
Right.
So that when you come home from the gym, as soon as you get home, do your protein, do your creatine, do your aminos, do your branched chains, do your essential fats, right when you come home from the gym. Because after you work out, your body is maximally receptive to nutrition the way a dry sponge is maximally receptive to water. Not only that, but after you work out, your body's growing. That's when you want to feed it, as the tissue is starting to grow. The same thing is true about your skin.
Right.
After you stimulate your skin within a context of rest, you want to pound the nutrition so that it's this combination of retinol plus the vitamins.
Right.
So if you just use the retinol,
right,
you're not going to get the maximum benefit. In fact, you may get a little bit irritated. And if you
right,
use it too much, likewise, just like if you go to the gym
right,
every day and you don't give yourself a day off, you might get a little bit sore and you're not going to have the same kind of growth and hypertrophy that you're looking for. So you got to know how to use nutrition with the stimulation. That's why in the retinol,
right,
I put vitamin C.
Right.
I put a mega dose of vitamin, not a little bit,
right,
a mega dose of vitamin C. In fact, I call this retinol 5% gel, but you might as well call it a vitamin C product because there's more vitamin C in here than you're going to get in any other product
right,
that you get in the department store. And I don't even talk about the vitamin C. So this is in essence a vitamin C product in addition
it's your vitamin C and your vitamin A at the same time.
In one.
Yeah. Let's talk about, because I know we've had a lot of questions about how you've come up with the retinol 5%. You know, I've had people say, isn't that illegal to put 5%? Like, you can't,
yeah,
you know, like.
It's a lot, right?
Right, it's a lot. So talk about, you know, how that works with, you know, how you came up with that.
Well, how I came up with it
is
because, and this is how I came up with retinol, the whole idea of retinol. In pharmacy school, retinol, or vitamin A, is the go-to active ingredient for treating the skin. Not just for anti-aging the skin, for actinic keratosis, which is a type of pre-skin cancer, even for cancer.
Right.
You know, retinol is actually chemotherapy.
Yeah.
It's actually
he told me this last night and I had no idea.
It's anti-cancer because vitamin A is so cool. You know, a lot of, you're talking about stimulating, right? Well, growth isn't just about stimulating. Mm-hmm. Growth is about this tight balance between stimulating and slowing down. In chemistry, skin chemistry, we call it normalization. So you want to have ingredients that don't just speed things up, but kind of regulate. So you don't want things growing too fast. You know, that's the problem when things grow too fast.
Right.
Fibrosis, psoriasis, these are problems in the body where things are growing too cancer. These are problems where things are growing too fast, right? Mm-hmm. On the other hand, you don't want things growing too slow because that's aging.
Right.
So you want just the right amount. What's so amazing about vitamin A is it's intelligent. It will slow things down when they're growing too fast.
Right.
That's why it's used for psoriasis.
Right.
And that's why it's used to treat cancer.
Right.
And it will speed things up when they're growing too slow.
Right.
That's why it's used to treat anti-aging and for
interesting.
wrinkles. It's like, isn't it? It's intelligent. It's an intelligent molecule that talks to the cells and that knows exactly whether the cells need to be sped up or whether they need to be slowed down. And this normalization function is so important that it's medicinal. And that's why you have to go to the pharmacy to get your Retin A.
Right.
It's because it's a powerful concept. It's actually manipulating the chemistry in the skin.
Right.
However, it turns out that retinol is turned in to retinoic acid,
right.
Retin A. I should say the active ingredient in Retin A is retinoic acid.
Right.
And that's really the active form of vitamin A.
Right.
And that's the kind that's regulated as a prescription drug.
Right.
But it turns out that retinol is broken down in your skin it's converted, it's metabolized into retinoic acid. You make your own Retin A. But because there's a conversion process, it's weaker. Mm-hmm. In fact, it's 100 times weaker than retinoic acid. So retinol gets turned into retinoic acid, but it's about 100 times weaker, the conversion factor, because there's a lot of chemistry that has to take place for the retinol to get turned into the retinoic acid. So in the pharmacy, the go-to anti-aging skincare product for topical skincare product is Retin A, 0.05%.
Right, that's what I've heard. That's the best.
Well, there's three strengths.
There's three, but I heard that you actually don't need the 0.1.
You don't need the 0.1 is really a lot, and the 0.01 is not quite a lot. It's not really enough.
Right.
So the 0.05 is the middle ground.
Right, and that's like a good amount.
That's a perfect amount. Right. So 0.05 is the middle ground. So multiply that by 100. What do you get? 5. Mm-hmm. So retinol gel, if you factor in that 100 times factor, is the equivalent retinoic acid dose of a 0.05% Retin A product.
So because retinol is that 100 times weaker, he just bumped up the dosage by that much, so it creates the same.
Correct.
Right.
So you get the same retinol action that you would get from Retin A 0.05%.
Right. And I know I've been using that product, and that's what I said to them, you know, in other videos. I'm like, I've tried so many other vitamin A products.
Right.
This one gives you the exact experience of a Retin A, because I used Retin A for years, but it ripped my skin apart because it was so irritating.
But this one doesn't.
Right.
Why?
Without the irritation, yeah.
Without the irritation. Why? Because you're not getting the preservatives, you're not getting the propylene. If you look at the ingredient deck on your Retin-A, it ain't pretty.
Right.
It's not pretty.
Like, there's so many toxic ingredients.
It's awful. Because it's a drug company that makes it.
Right.
And that's what I was saying earlier. You can't just take an active ingredient and stick it into your cream and say, here's my vitamin A cream. You've got to know you've got to understand how to build a vehicle.
Well, the thing that worries me when I look at the Retin-A ingredient list, because I mean, I used it for years, and now when I'm learning more about ingredients, I'm like, oh my God, like, because you have the active ingredient, but you have so much toxic chemicals that are getting into your skin at the same time.
They put sodium lauryl sulfate in it.
Right.
You have a detergent. Now, I haven't looked at the ingredient deck in many years, so
it hasn't changed. I mean, it really hasn't changed.
Yeah. This was the last time I looked at it. It had propylene glycol in it. It had parabens in it. It had sodium lauryl sulfate, which is a detergent, an awful detergent in it. So as a pharmacist, I knew that retinoic acid is incredibly important, but I knew that there were some problems with it, so I made it my business to create retinol products that had retinol in it that weren't irritating to the skin.
That we're going to do the same exact thing. Get down to the skin
without
cells.
causing the irritation. Exactly.
Right.
Take advantage of all the benefits that Retin-A has, which is for the consumer. Now we've been talking about fibroblasts and keratinocytes and stratum corneum, but for the consumer it means more even tone to the skin.
Right.
Retinoic acid and retinol are the best skin lighteners you could ever use if you have dark spots. You have much more even tone from the skin from our retinol 5% gel.
Yeah.
Fine lines and wrinkles disappear because it stimulates collagen production. And most importantly, you get a healthier look to the skin.
Right.
Because it's not really the wrinkles and the fine lines and the dark spots that we're worried about when we put a beauty product on. We want to look good.
You want healthy skin, right?
Yes, you want to
plump
glow.
skin, exactly,
Yes.
glowing skin.
And that's what you get when you apply retinol to the skin. And the beautiful thing about our retinol 5% gel is because you have the vitamin C in there, and because you don't have the parabens and the preservatives and the fillers and the waxes, you don't get the irritation that people are accustomed to getting.
Right. You're getting like I said, you're getting the flaking and the peeling, and you're seeing that beautiful skin underneath.
Right. Without
like the red, irritated, painful skin, which I found so fascinating, because like I was telling you, and like I was telling them, over the past year, I haven't really been using, I've been testing a lot of vitamin A's, because I've had rosacea, and I've been really worried about putting such an aggressive product on my skin. So yours was the first one that I tried that actually gave me that peeling and everything that I could handle.
Without having that agony.
Yes.
Now, with retinol, you're stimulating. So you want to understand the nature of going to the gym. Remember, you can't just go to the gym every day. If you want to get bigger, you got to take days off. So with retinol, I recommend once a week, once every 10 days, maybe when you start, maybe every 14 days when you start. Get yourself into where you can do it once or twice a week. Although I will say, I have patients who use the retinol 5% gel every day.
Right.
And they don't have a problem with it. Because their skin is
that. Because that's what I was going to ask you about that.
Their skin is strong enough.
Yeah, is it the same thing where with yours you start slow and you kind of build your way?
Retinol, I would recommend people start slow in the sense that maybe they do it once every 2 weeks and then work into every 10 days and then work into once or twice a week. Ideally, you want to use it once or twice a week.
So that's all you need? Because I mean, I know people that use tretinoin and they want to use, their doctors are telling them build up to every night.
It depends on the skin.
Yeah.
If you have thicker skin, it's kind of like, think about if you just got out of the hospital and you never worked out before, are you going to go on the bench press and start benching 300 pounds? No. You're going to start off with a light weight and you're going to get stronger over time.
And build up.
So you have to assess your own skin. If you have thinning skin or you have weak skin or fragile skin or rosacea skin or delicate skin types, you might want to start off every 14 days.
Right.
If you have thicker, stronger skin, more vital skin, healthier skin, if you're a younger patient, if you're a man, if you're African American, and you have more robust skin, then you really want to push it. You always want to push things.
Right.
You don't want to go over, and it's a fine line to understand where that line is, because you don't want to underdose, because you're not going to get the real good benefits, but you don't want to overdose either. So you kind of want to understand your skin. It's not rocket science.
And you just want to pay attention to your skin, because you'll know if you're overdoing it. Right.
You'll know. Absolutely.
And then back off.
And then you back off a little bit.
Right.
Exactly. It's kind of like understanding your skin. And that's really what this is all about, Brianna.
Right.
Is understanding your skin. And really, it's understanding your body. We live in this magnificent human body. It heals itself, it regenerates itself, it repairs itself, it fights cancer, it fights bacteria and viruses, it does this amazing things, but we got to know how to ride it. Most of us know more about our microwave ovens and how to program our cable TV boxes than our bodies. Yes. So we want to understand how our bodies work. You don't need to be a quantum physicist. You don't need to be a nuclear scientist to understand the body, but there's little things that you need to understand.
I feel like you just want to be, I know, even just talking to you, I've become so much more in tune with my body when you actually start paying attention to it.
Your body's always talking to you.
Yeah,
your body's always, it's funny. If you, I don't know, if you have like a vice, say you like Snickers bars, right?
Yeah.
Say you smoke cigarettes or whatever it is, your particular vice is.
Yeah.
If you take your Snickers bar and you hold it up and you look at that beautiful brown package and you rip it open and it makes that wonderful sound. You know? And marketers know about the sound. They know that rip, what that means. And you know, your McDonald's hamburger, you unwrap it like it's a Christmas present or something. You know, the little toy, and you get all excited about your McDonald's hamburger. And then you raise your Snickers bar, McDonald's hamburger, your cigarette to your mouth really slowly. You'll hear a little voice in the back of your head go, no, don't do that, right? It'll always tell you, right? You know what I'm talking about. And we're always like, shut up, and we just eat the McDonald's hamburger or the Snickers bar. But what it means is listening to that still small voice.
Your body knows.
It's telling you. There's a wisdom that is built into our bodies, and it's always talking to us. And we don't listen to it, or we don't speak it. We don't understand the language that it's speaking. And that's why we go to doctors. We expect doctors to understand and to interpret our body's signal for us, and we pay them big bucks to do it. When in reality, we have access to it ourselves. So if you put a product on your skin and it burns and it's irritating, and back off on it. Now, if it's an ingredient that you need, like retinol, see if you can work with it. Work with it. Instead of using it every day, use it every other day. Use it every third day. Use it every fifth day. Get yourself acclimated.
And your skin, with the vitamin A's, your skin does kind of become more accustomed the more you use it.
In fact, you'll notice, like you said, you got some flaking. You'll notice that as you use it over time, you don't even get the flaking anymore. Because
but it's still working. Because I always have people come to me and they'll say, oh, this product's not working. I'm like, no, your skin's just like it's working. Your body's taking it in.
The flaking is dead skin cells coming off. And once after you've been using retinol for a year or a couple of years, your dead skin cells are constantly coming off.
You're not going to see that major...
see the major flaking that you did at first. It's still working. You're still getting a dose of vitamin A. And the flaking is just part of the dose, or part of the effect. The real effect is at the level of the fibroblasts.
Which you're not going to see
over time. You'll see.
You'll see the results, but you're not seeing instantly what it's doing to your skin
over
cells.
time. Now, and that's another thing. You'll notice results with these tooth products within a day or two. Absolutely, you'll notice results. But the real good results, a month later, 2 months later, 3 months later, you're looking at your skin, oh my gosh, are people saying things?
It's plump,
all of that. All that. So you get the instant results, and by instant I mean within 24, 48, 72 hours. But the real results are months down the road. It's the same with nutrition. You know, if you've never taken nutritional supplements before, and you have high blood pressure, or you have rosacea, you're overweight, or whatever it is, you're going to notice results quickly. But the real good results will be a year down the road. You're going to feel much stronger. You're going to feel more vital. You're going to feel healthier. And that is a result of the storage of the nutrients that you're taking over a course of time. Likewise, the active materials in these ingredients, in these products, the vitamin A and the vitamin C, are stored in your skin. So you're loading your skin up with these nutrients so that your skin has a reservoir of vitamin A, has a reservoir of vitamin C that's actually loaded in the skin. You don't have a reservoir of peptides. You don't have a reservoir of chamomile. You don't have a reservoir of name your favorite skincare ingredient that you love. You don't have a reservoir effect for any of that stuff.
Let's talk about your Truth Balm. We talked about the retinol. We talked about the healing cream. Let's talk about your Truth Balm, because I love this product.
Truth Balm. Truth Balm is basically the same thing as Truth Serum, but instead of the brighteners, the licorice brightener and the chamomile brightener, instead of the cholesterol, I put the vitamin C in what I call my transdermal delivery matrix, which is a system of esters, a solid system of esters that allows the vitamin C to be delivered slowly through the skin.
Now this, let me just share that this comes in like more of a...
it's a gel.
So the serum's a serum.
It's more of a night treatment. It's heavier. The serum's much lighter. The balm is
Although I've been using that when my skin's dry, I'll still put this on during the day.
You can use your but sometimes people at night would like to have a heavier product. Exactly. And the fact that it's in a matrix means the vitamin C is delivered very slowly through the skin. You can absolutely use it during the day, but I wanted to make a day treatment and a night treatment, and I wanted the night treatment to be a little bit more, have a little more body,
that
a little
feels
more substance
good on your skin.
It feels really good on your skin.
It feels so moisturizing and nice.
And you can use it. You can obviously.
So what's the ingredients in here? There's a couple ingredients again.
2 ingredients. It's got vitamin C, and it's got my transdermal delivery matrix. And the transdermal delivery matrix is made with a type of chemical called an ester. An ester is a very interesting molecule that we use in pharmacy to pull things in through the skin. And that's it. It's the vitamin C and the transdermal delivery matrix. And that's it. Transdermal delivery matrix is
I swear, when you put that on at night, you wake up, your skin is clear. I've noticed that you just wake up, your skin is more clear, more even toned, just feels plump.
Because you've been delivering vitamin C as you sleep. You've been delivering vitamin C into the lower levels of the skin as you're asleep. And
you wake up with different skin with that.
That's beautiful. And you can also use the Truth Serum with the Truth Balm.
I do. I was going to ask you, because I've used at night, I'll take the Truth Serum, put that on, and then I put the Truth Balm on top.
You'll get even better results.
Okay, cool. I guess we talked about, all four. Now
these are all healing products. You can use them for healing. You can use them for sunspots. If you have dark spots, aging spots, you can use them. Vitamin C and vitamin A are the best skin lighteners. We were talking yesterday about the go-to skin lightener in the.
Well, we were talking about hydroquinone last night,
which is nasty stuff. Yeah. I mean, nasty. And by the way, you want to hear something interesting? The chemical molecule hydroquinone, if you look at the structure of it, it looks almost exactly like paraben.
Yeah.
So the chemical structure of hydroquinone is like paraben, except it's much more intense. And when I was in the pharmacy, I'd have to fill prescriptions for hydroquinone. I would make the products in a hood, which is like a, you know what I'm talking about, like a lab hood. And I'd hold it underneath the hood, and I'd wear a mask because I didn't want to breathe that stuff. And then I'd have to make a prescription with it, and people would rub it on the skin.
And I used to use Obagi with hydroquinone. Now after learning all of that, I'm like, oh my god,
it's nasty stuff.
Right,
you don't want it, highly toxic. If you were to eat the hydroquinone, you would die.
Right.
And I know you're not eating it when you put it on your skin, but if you can put something on your skin that is so deadly that you're gonna, if you eat it, you don't want to put it on your skin.
Right.
Parabens are the same way, by the way.
Right.
You know, if you eat those, you would die. Sunscreens are toxic chemicals, and we rub them on our skin. Sometimes, you know, every day. For weeks, for months, for decades, for a lifetime.
And it's getting through.
There's no way.
I know.
There's no way it can't have an effect.
Right.
You know, when they do check breast cancer tumors, they find parabens in it. You know, so there's no way that you cannot escape the fact that when you put something on your skin over and over and over again for days and weeks and months and years and decades, that it's going to eventually get into the system.
Right.
If it's a toxic element, I don't care if it's 0.01%, and this is what the cosmetic industry will tell you. Oh, it's just 0.01%, it's just a tiny little percent. But what they don't account for is over and over and over again how you're putting the
all
stuff.
These chemicals.
Yes, you know, and even the water itself. Do you know how much toxicity is in the water itself?
Yeah.
Fluoride in the water, and chlorine in the water, and waste materials in the water.
So crazy.
So on top of the toxicity that's in the product, that's added to the product, just the water itself that's in products. And just the water you're washing your face with, for that matter. You're bombarded.
It's like
yes, which is why, by the way, vitamin C is so important.
Yeah.
It's because it detoxifies fluoride. It detoxifies chlorine. So after you wash your face, that's when you want to make sure you're putting fat soluble.
Oh, that brings me to my one. I want you to tell them how you want to apply these to your skin, to damp skin.
So we have
because it's a little bit different.
Yeah, we have always want to apply your product to damp skin. But we have some products coming out that are going to facilitate that, sprays that will help you do that. But in the meantime, you wash your face, and then you take 1 or 2 drops of True Serum.
So while your skin is still moist.
While your skin is still moist. I don't know if you can see this.
Yep.
And you always want to work a product in your hand first.
Right.
Okay. So you work your product in your hand, and then you apply it to your damp skin.
Right.
And you can see as you apply. If you look in the mirror as you apply this to damp skin, you will see a color change to your skin.
Right.
As you're applying the product to your skin, and that color changes blood. And that means blood is coming up to the skin to grab that nutrient, to pull it back into the lower levels of the tissue. But it also means when you have blood coming to the skin, it means more oxygen to your skin. It means more nutrition to your skin. And as the blood goes away, it means more detoxification to your skin. So that color change that you see on your skin is a sign that you're not only improving the look of your skin and getting an effect from your product, but you're improving the health of the tissue. And that's going to have long-term results.
Right. So now you want to apply each one of your products to damp skin? The retinol even?
All products. You should always, any product you use, not just my products.
Right.
If you want penetration,
you want it to be more damp skin.
Yes. When the
so how when you're doing, say you're doing a skin care, like layering, you're layering your products. How do you do that with?
Layer it in your hand.
Oh, really?
Mix it up in your hand. You want to massage it, you get more lymphatic action, you get more blood supply, you're actually driving blood into the tissue as you massage your skin.
Right.
You want to massage.
So it's not like you don't want to be so dainty and massage it in. Yeah.
Because remember, the skin is layers, so when you're just dainty, you're only on the surface.
Right.
When you're rubbing, you're getting the connective tissue involved, and the connective tissue is not only important for structure, the connective tissue is what feeds the cells. The connective tissue is what detoxifies the cells. And the connective tissue is what oxygenates the cells. And even better, the connective tissue is what electrifies the cells. So as you rub, you are amping up electrical energy in your face. You're jacking up the electricity in your face just by rubbing.
Right.
And that's why rubbing the body is so important. That's why massage is so important, and lymphatic drainage is so important.
Right.
Because as you're manipulating the tissue, you're actually improving the movement and the dynamism at the electrical level, at the structural level, at the mechanical level, and at the chemical level. You're up-regulating everything you want to have happen in the skin. You know, healthy skin is not healthy because it looks healthy. It's healthy because it's dynamic. because it's glowing, because it's moving, because things are happening in the skin.
Right.
And that's what you're looking for.
Right. Well, that's amazing. So that is his 4 products that now you are coming out.
I have many more products.
Cannot wait.
Many
more products are coming out, so I'm so excited about that.
I love formulating. I have a formulation lab, and
Yeah.
when I had my non-compete, I couldn't really do a lot of products.
Right.
But
So now you're free.
I'm free.
Yes. So more products to come, but these are his 4 products right now. Again, I will link them all down below in the description box as well for you guys. But this is our first video. We are going to now go on. We're going to film some question and answers from you guys. And then we're going to do like a little nutrition video as well. So
Great.
Stick around for those and we'll be back shortly. Bye guys.
Bye.